So when you want to paint details, there are three things you need to care about and you need to learn. Defining small shapes. And if you cannot do that automatically, like while you are painting, you can do something like this. You can draw those shapes with, a small brush on a different layer. And then you can keep that layer on top or at the bottom. I don't know, depends on what you want to do in kind of, with a very low opacity. And that those lines will help you to understand where to paint those details. So this is one way, or you can just paint the details, by hand. Um, you know, the second part is to fill the area, fill that spot with the flat color, like I've done in this moment. And then you can, use, I don't know, the lasso tool to select the details you want to start painting with the different value. Or you can just select a brush and paint them manually. Now, the thing is, the important thing to understand, the second thing to understand, is that if you start from a certain value, then details that you are going to paint, there could be darker or brighter than the actual value, but you cannot like go that far away. So in this case, we start like painting some shadows, and then, now we are painting some highlights with a different brush. But you see, those values do not go too far away from the starting value. And the last thing you need to understand is the direction of the shape you are going to paint. So, for example, in this small rock I have as test, we have some vertical lines in that area at the bottom, and so we paint, you see, vertical details. And this is up to you. This is up to the image. You need to look at the reference and understand, okay, how can I simplify those details? Those lines goes, from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. How long are those lines? Maybe they are not lines, maybe they are like dots. And if you start like this and you start from, the original color, the color you have at the beginning with the value you put at the beginning, and you paint little by little with different colors that are close to that one, you're gonna get to the final result in no times. Then you can, at the end, you can add some details with some custom brushes. But this is the theory, okay? You start from the value you painted in the last video, and then you move a little bit on another different value, like close by, like you see in here I start painting with the rectangular brush, and I picked a gray value which was closer to the one I already had. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying just to add details. Now, the thing is, I'm doing this on a new layer, and you don't have to care. You don't have to feel like, oh, this should be perfect, okay? It shouldn't. It shouldn't be perfect. You just need to remember these 3 points. You need to use a value which is closer to the one you already had, a brush that resembles this shapes you have there, and you need to understand where the line goes, and how long those lines are, okay? If they are lines or rectangles or dots. And that's really important, especially when you go close to the camera, close, when you need to paint object with a lot of details close to you. Now, I started from that mountain, which is far away, so I need less details, and that's good. If you want to start from that one. And at the same time, if you feel like that you made a mistake, you can just pick the color you want to paint with and go over the old painting. And this is a perfect time also to, I would say, add small details, You see, I always pick the color from the gradient in the middle, and I start painting. And you see, I just pick a color, a grayscale value, which is very, very dark, close to the one I already had. Just had a glimpse of details, very subtle, areas. And, sooner or later, you will see a nice result. If I can give you another advice, just look at the navigator on the right. Because if you see something that, get close to the original reference, then you're doing a good job. Even if it's not perfect, who cares? You're getting there, okay? You're getting there because you're going to paint with smaller and smaller brush every time, with, a slightly different value every time. And if you have these three things done correctly, the value, the type of brush, and the type of shape, then you're going to be successful no matter what. Now my style is to paint, like you can see here, with this rectangular brush. I love to paint with that. It's more like a cartoonish style than photorealistic one. But anyway, you can deal with this. You can go with this method, and then you can improve the final look with some custom brushes at the very end. And we are going to see this in the next video. And so this is, the theory. Every time is the same. You move to a new area, you pick a value, slightly darker or slightly brighter, depends on you, depends on what you need to do. And then you start to copy what you see on the reference. And, once you think it's already, too much what you're painting with that brush, with that value, you change brush or you change size and you change slightly the value and you start adding more details, okay? And please try to understand before you paint how those details work. If there are lines, if there are dots, if those lines goes, horizontally, vertically, diagonally, it's all there. And if you made a mistake, don't erase, just paint over, okay? With Alt button, you pick a color close to that one and you paint over. And, focus on the mountain on the right and practice on that one. Now I will show you, for the rest of the video, this is, it took 2 hours to paint the entire image. I just, increased the speed rate of the video to like 4 times. And so you will see this completed in roughly 30 minutes. And it's always the same thing, okay? Always the same thing. So move to a new zone, new values, slightly different, and then painting like type of details that I can see on the left. Like in this case, they are like horizontal lines. And if you feel like you made a mistake, don't erase, paint over. If this exercise is too difficult for you and you feel like it's too difficult, try with something easier, like the rock I shown at the beginning, which is something you already have because it's coming from a previous exercise. And when you're when you feel like good, when you feel like you're done, you have a good result with that one, move to this one. And please, guys, this should be a funny and entertaining process. So you should have fun. Don't feel frustrated. Just try and try and try again until you get something. Put some music on, a movie, I don't know, on the other monitor, and try to have fun, try to relax. And you will see sooner or later your eyes will train to understand shapes a lot better and understand values a lot better. And you will, and how can you understand if you are getting better? Because it will take less strokes to get the same result, and it will take less values to get a convincing effect. and that's when you understand you're getting better. Trust me, this is like a little bit like a drug. If you get into this, you will love it. Okay, so be patient and continue looking at this and try yourself.